Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. This is Canada's preeminent authority on life transformation, relationship building, and matchmaking. Aviva Reimer, hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this all day.
Yay! So let me introduce you to everybody, starting off with my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hello.
Hi. And you I need desperately.
Dude.
I have 2 old maid daughters that I want to get married. Maybe you could help me out and tell me how to marry these spinsters off.
Actually, she has a book, which we're going to be talking about
Then
after
we'll
we
get
introduce
the book.
her.
Send me the book.
It's
I'll
called
give them-
Becoming the Total Package. But first, we got to
Okay.
introduce her to everybody
Good,
else.
good book.
All right, so we want to introduce you to our engineer who is in Wellington, Florida, Danielle. Danielle, say hi to Aviva.
Hello, I'm the other whatever Ron said, the other single woman. And
Yeah, she's the third single woman.
Danielle.
hello.
Another old maid.
Another old maid, but she's a young old maid. And then we have in Philadelphia, we have Scotty J. Scotty J, say hello.
Aviva, it is wonderful to meet you, and I am taking notes.
Oh, fantastic. Great meeting you.
Why, you looking for a husband?
Sorry there. This is exciting.
All right, everybody. So Aviva, like I said, she's Canada's preeminent authority on life transformation, relationship building, and matchmaking. She's highly regarded in her effective techniques on personal development, life coaching, and fitness. And she's got a brand new book that just came out called Becoming the Total Package.
Now, first question. Where did you get it from? And how do you consider yourself an authority on the complete package? What's that all about?
Well, being the complete package is different for everybody. But I feel, in my opinion, that the most important things are character, kindness, honesty, self-appearance. It depends on what it is for everyone. It's different for everyone, but ideally, the total package is someone who really has their ducks lined up in a row to be attractive to somebody else.
Now you're describing the woman of 1955 and 1960. Most women back then were exactly as you just described. Women today have changed. Women today do not want to be called, hey, honey. They don't want doors opened for them. They don't want gentlemen to pay for them at dinner. They don't want men to be the aggressor.
Wait a second, though. Because you're talking about women and becoming the total package. It's a guy thing, too. A guy has to be a total package.
Wait a second. You're crushing my point, Jim. Women today have an entirely different idea of what a total package is. Men today want a woman who makes $100,000 a year. They don't want a woman that hasn't got any money and with 2 kids, and these guys are going to break their backs supporting them. So the package has changed from what you described. Now, tell me what you think.
So I think that a lot of that comes from conditioning and the experiences we've had between men and women. Ideally, when I speak to people, or one of the reasons I wanted to write the book is everybody's entitled to lead their life the way they want to. If a woman wants to feel, equal, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But in my personal opinion, I think everybody should have their own energy, feminine energy, masculine energy in relationships, right? So it's really up to the individual to have the choice of the kind of relationship they want to have, whether she wants to open the door for him, whether he's going to open the door for him or her, or what have you, right? So I think it's evolved a lot. I think it's changed a lot, but it stems from experiences and conditioning. Absolutely.
But I feel that everyone should buy your book because it was a lot better 40 years ago than it is today. And I think women should learn that they are not as strong as men. Men are far stronger. Men need to feel the bear, and they need to feel the woman is the dove, the lamb. And I noticed that all of my daughter's friends, who have all married very successfully, I must tell you, because we're in the business, they've married movie stars, directors, producers, multimillionaires. Every woman that married was elegant, beautifully dressed, sophisticated, charming, warm, and every bit the hostess. And that's so important. And that's what you're saying in your book. So ladies,
No, you don't know that. That's what she's
no,
saying.
I heard what she was saying. She described the 1955 woman without the being a housefrau, without the husband getting the slippers for the husband, that kind of junk.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Here, I'm going to make it very clear because I'm kind of good at that. So when it comes to the workforce, when you're saying equality, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with women making as much money as the men, as long as they're efficient and, whatever they're doing. But I think there's a difference between something like that and a personal relationship. In a personal relationship, like you said, I feel the woman needs to be the lamb, and a man needs to feel wanted, and she needs to be soft, and he needs to take charge. And this is today what women are looking for that we're missing.
I don't know. A lot of the women that I'm friends with, and we're friends with, gay guys have tons of women friends, and the women, they all say, I don't need a man. If I want a man, I know how to get a man. A man is good for a weekend. That's it. The rest of the time, I don't need him around. I don't need to cook. God cook for him, like go in the kitchen or do anything for him. No. I go out to dinner every night. I like shopping with my girlfriends. I prefer my girlfriend's company to a boy's company. And that's what I hear from so many women. It's as though they're putting men down or disrespecting men. I am a gay man, but I was a straight man before I was a gay man. Not straight, but I was making believe. Anyway, I know what it's like. When I dated my wife, I was the guy. I drove the car. I picked her up. I took her to dinner, and it was a wonderful arrangement. I wouldn't want it the other way.
Also, though, hold on, because let me just add something to it so you have, because Ron, even though he doesn't look older, he's older. Ron's 79.
I'm 79 years old, so
he comes from a different time.
Ron, you are the total package.
Thank you.
So I think that you have to know that because he watches Turner Classic Movies and he's very involved in always talking about how he misses how it was in the 50s and the 60s and how how things have changed so much.
You know what I miss, and you're going to agree with me? The innocence. The man that on his honeymoon night taught his wife. The wife who made believe she didn't know, or maybe she didn't know, but she was submissive. The relationship lasted for 40 years, 50 years. Yes, there were many divorces, but there were far more successful marriages. Today, women say, marriage, sex is only good for 3 years. After 3 years, my husband's boring. I know his act. I know exactly where he's going, what he's going to do. It's terrible. This is wrong thinking, Tell me about it. Help me with this.
Well, I think people are not accepting what they need to accept. We're all different. We all have different needs. And the fact of the matter is we have to maintain these needs. When we get together, when you're courting somebody, whether it's a man and a man or a woman and a woman or a man and a woman, there's a certain chemistry that happens there. Why are we not maintaining this chemistry once we're deep into our relationships? And these things are not accepted and these things are forgotten about. And this is really, really important. I think you have to accept things the way they are about people and try to always be the better person for your partner. And that chemistry.
What do you attribute this? What do you attribute this change to? What has made women change from what they were 30 years ago to these women of today, the so-called liberal women? What changed it? What made burn your bra? What made I have to go out and be the breadwinner, or I tell my husband what to do? I wear the pants in the family. What made this change? How was this allowed?
Allowed.
The world's evolving. There's always going to be change, and it just went in that direction. It's all about how people are being treated as well. I don't think there should be any kind of staple to anything. I think people should decide for themselves how they want to lead their life. What you were just saying a second ago, what happened to all of that in women. I think it's just not so good relationships and bad experiences, and sexuality, misinterpretations. It just evolves and becomes something of its own. I think it's important for people to keep their traditions and understand the differences between ourselves and
I like that.
know what you want.
So everybody, the name of the book is called Becoming the Total Package. Again, this is Aviva Reimer. And so, and we're talking right now about women, but everybody has to become a total package. It's not a thing just for women to become the total package. Men have to be a package or women aren't going to want them in the first place. So talk a little bit about how it's like, it's not just one sex.
Right. So everybody, it's all about self-reflection, right? There's all kinds of things happening in the world between people, government, whatever it is. But when it comes to relationships, everybody needs to self-reflect and understand, what's happening. How did I become the person that I am today? What happened to me that made me react a certain way? There are men complaining about women. There's, and I'm talking about different energies, not necessarily heterosexual society, right? So, why is he doing this to me? Or why did he do this to me? Or why did she do that to me? Why did she take half my money? I never thought she would be like this, but she is like that. So, it's people's experiences that are now putting them in these certain situations where they're creating these different outlooks in life. So self-reflection is important. It's important to know that you want to be better for that person, that you want to accept that person as they are, right? And you want to do what's right. So when you understand yourself, it's much easier to see things in other people.
I love it.
Why not? And why not be better? Because the quality of life changes. Everything changes, right?
Well, I think men have changed tremendously too. I only talked about women. Men, when I was growing up, men wanted to be men. Even I was a gay man and I wanted to be a man. I wanted to be Cary Grant. I wanted to be dashing and handsome and suave and
you were
no, come on, and gallant. I wanted to be beyond what I was born to be. And today I find a lot of guys, they don't look good. They all these tattoos and earrings and studs and mohawk hairdos, and I don't find that attractive. It's so not Cary Grant. Yet a lot of girls find that attractive. I find the way men treat girls today, not all men, so men don't get excited, but most men that I know, they don't treat the women quite right. And the women don't seem to mind. Things that they do to the women today, if done in my day, the girl would never date you again. I mean, she'd just absolutely say this guy is a barbarian. He's primitive.
Well, as time goes on, we tend to tolerate a lot more. Right?
Yes.
We tolerate more and more and more. And this was part of the reason why I wanted to actually write this book, because on a daily basis, when I'm coaching people, I have a lot of these questions that come at me, I explain to me, why am I allowing this to happen, or why this happened? And you have to try to go back in time and figure out what it is that happened to you that created this thing in you that is allowing for you to let this happen. So it's very difficult. I wanted to write this book because I wanted to help people who are not able to find their own way, right? I mean, you either call it friends.
Wait, hold it up and show it to
the
everybody.
cover.
Show it so we can all see it.
Hold, no, come up. You're glaring.
There you go. Tilt there you go. There you go.
Tilt it a little bit so it doesn't glare. The other way.
There you go. Perfect.
Perfect.
So you guys
the total package, folks.
First of all, what does it say underneath it? It says becoming the total package.
It says choose the love you deserve for the life that you want.
There you go.
Absolutely fabulous words. I agree with those words.
I start with explaining to people how this world actually works that we're living in.
Okay, now we're going to go somewhere where you may not be comfortable.
I'm comfortable with anything, believe me.
Good, because I ask questions that nobody dares. How about your personal life? How do you judge a guy on a date? Are you married?
I've been in a relationship for quite some time. Yes.
Okay, so what are your standards? What are you looking for? What kind of a package are you looking for?
Okay, so I've had a lot of experience in my life, and a total package is somebody who has, and I'm going to talk about the most important things, right? Like I said, it's different for everybody. For me personally, it's integrity. You have to be, all you have is really your word in life,
Yes.
How people view you, how they respect you, how they treat you is all about how you treat yourself as well, right? So integrity, honesty, like courage, and honesty, because you have to be courageous to be able to put things out there or say things the way you want to say them. For me, it's really important for someone to be kind and also self-reflect on themselves and know how to put themselves in my shoes to be able to understand the other person. So you also have to be open-minded, right? If you're not open-minded, you're going to close door to all kinds of things, everything. You know, you're going to stereotype, you're going to create your own excuses, etc. So these things are really important to me. The outer appearance for me, you know, for like everybody, it's important. There has to be attraction, but people are attracted to individuals on different levels. Mm-hmm. Some are attracted more to character. For example, you know, obviously men or masculine energy is attracted more initially to the physicality of things, right? They take a look at how, you know, the opposite sex is carrying themselves and how how they move, the sensuality, what have you, you know, how you're well-spoken, your character, your personality. And for women, for example, it's a little bit different. We're also attracted to that, but we're also more so attracted to how we're being treated. So on the outside, you might not be, you know, exactly what you expected yourself to want to be with, but on the inside, you're everything. And at the end of the day, you know, as you get on in years, what's most important, right?
It's how you're treated. Yeah. I love that.
And women are more inclined to become attracted to a man by the way they're treated. We're a little bit more resilient than you guys. You guys have some components that are very difficult to penetrate sometimes through, which is ego, you know, and some other things. But yeah, it's difficult when it comes to men, more difficult than it is for women. And you froze.
Oh, we froze?
A little bit, yes. But I can still hear
no. I was gonna say like you because you're are we still frozen? No, we're not frozen. I'm moving, I think. Okay.
No, we're frozen.
You guys are all moving just fine, but I actually thought that you were frozen stiff with those words.
I'm not seeing my mic being moved.
You don't see it there. You see it there.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So I
wait, before you go there, I just want to say one thing which is pertaining to what she just said. Women think with their hearts. Men think with their penises.
Yes.
And that's the truth.
You say it than if I say it.
Yes.
No. If a woman with a drop dead body walks by and she's absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous with legs of death, all a guy thinks of is, wow, would I? Then the other comes later. What the woman's insides are. So listen, in our business, we go to all these red carpets and I see these pathetic, poor broads that I want to go over to and say, girls, stop it. They got their fake boobs jacked up, hanging out of a dress. They're in a skin-tight dress that's barely covering their wazoo. They're no stockings, and they think they're going to get in pictures. I said, no, honey, the only thing you're going to get in is a bed. It's not going to bring you to pictures, you know? And they really think that their sexuality opens every door in the world. No, it doesn't, girls. You have to have more than just that. As this gal is talking about, you have to have inners. You have to be something that once you have sex with each other, there has to be something that holds you there, or the guy leaves.
100%.
Yeah.
One thing too, though, is because you like
make sure it's understood that it's just sex.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with verbalizing that.
Yeah, but a lot of girls, when they have sex, they feel that the guy is going to love them after it because they're so good and whatever. I mean, it's a fantasy world.
It is. It is a fantasy world, 100%.
So I noticed
fantasy world in our head.
You say, because like it's easy, like you and Ron, because like Ron's very attractive and you're very attractive, and you guys, and we should also give a plug because you also have a company called Perfect Fit, right?
Yes.
You know that you help with all the body images. We're going to talk about that
next.
We'll talk about that next.
2 old maids I want to pawn off.
But like because you guys are so attractive, like I'm sure like Ron's always taking care of himself. I'm sure like when you Google Aviva Reimer, I mean there's not a single picture, even if you're like grocery shopping, you look gorgeous and fabulous, which is what Ron was like talking about, like that you take good care of yourself, you look beautiful, you hold yourself accordingly. And I think that you guys are good examples of how like people should take a look at you guys and say, look at these people, you know, they're happy, they're successful, and look how they take care of themselves.
The biggest mistake that many people, men and women, make is a guy works out, he's 22 years old, he's 25 years old, he's got a body of death, the girl's gorgeous, lipstick, hairdos, and everything. 20 years down the road, she's fat in a house dress with no hair, and he's a big fat belly, and they wonder why they're not in love anymore. And they wonder why the sex is not like it was years ago. Because you didn't commit. You didn't take care of the commitment you made. Like I told Jimmy all the time, I'm 79 years old, and I committed to Jimmy 8 years ago. We're married, legally married. And I committed to him that I will stay as attractive as I can for as long as I live. I don't want to become an ugly old man because then Jimmy won't want me. And that's what people have to know out there. Keep your beauty, keep what you sold the guy or the girl, keep that going.
Yes.
I love it.
But you won't be able to keep that going unless you want that for yourself.
Well, you have to, you have to want it for yourself.
Yes. You have to want everything for yourself first before you can be that something for someone else, right? But
Yes.
I'm a big believer that both are very important. Absolutely.
So I want to talk about your company real quick, but before I do that, because you guys, Aviva, she's made lots of TV and media appearances. She's been on ET Canada, The Millionaire Matchmaker on Bravo. She writes for the Huffington. She's written for the Huffington Post, Zoomer, Viva, among others. And this is what I find super. I wanted you just to tell us kind of what this is or how you do this. But you're certified by the Matchmaking Institute of New York. Tell us a little bit about that, because you're the matchmaker. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll go over and talk about your Perfect Fit company.
Okay, so I have been a lifestyle and life coach for quite some time. I've been doing transformations. And during those years, I had a couple of people that came to me and asked, a couple of men actually, that came to me and said, Aviva, I'm really fond of, who you are and what you stand for and what you do. Are you able to help me personally find somebody like you? They weren't trying to direct it at me, but they want somebody who's got their ducks lined up in a row, who takes good care of herself, who knows what she wants and understands herself well. I've been through some trials and tribulations as well. So a lot of my experience also came from that. So I'm very relatable to people. And I thought that since I'm already working with people and creating better versions of them, why not put those people together? Because they get it now. They understand now, right? And the commitments they would be making to one another are the right kind of commitments. And these are the relationships that are going to last because A, they understand and respect commitment. 2, they take care of themselves. They know that you have to accept a person for, their flaws and all the good stuff, that you never will have somebody perfect, right? You have to have an understanding of that. They will never be perfect, but you have to want the best that you can have for yourself and for the relationship. And that's work. So you have to create it. And how do you create it? It's all right here.
Hey, in the total package, becoming the total package.
What do you think of a man who meets a brunette and a year down the road says, honey, I really like blondes. Why don't you become a blonde? And then later on he said, honey, I really don't like those Peter Pan collars. Can't you wear something a little scoop necky? And then a little bit down the road he said, can't you drink a little so you loosen up? What do you think of those kind of guys?
Those kind of guys
that get a girl and want to change her.
So are you speaking if they're in a committed relationship?
Committed relationship, possibly married.
Okay. So they already understand each other. We're assuming that they're coming from an understanding, right?
Well, yeah, sort of. Women don't really understand that. They feel that what was wrong with me before? You loved me.
But those are self-worth issues. That's not someone being open-minded. I think it's amazing if your husband, would like you to try something different. I don't think there's anything wrong with you doing that as long as it's done in a healthy fashion, right? And for the fun of the relationship. If somebody's dictating things to you or trying to abuse you in that way emotionally, it's a completely different conversation.
Got it.
If you have a good relationship and your husband wants to, role play, or if he wants you to, go blonde, like you said, I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as it's possible to do because, we take a beating with all this. So I think, I think it's healthy for a relationship as long as you understand each other. Yes.
So
Because a lot of men change their women. They absolutely marry one kind and want them to be another kind. And the women resent that because they feel, he didn't love me the way I was and I had to become. Well, there are so many movies that have been made with that storyline.
I have to just interject here real quick because Scotty J, who is our videographer in Pennsylvania, just sent me a text message. He says, "Thank you so much for this segment. I'm asking my wife for a divorce when she gets home." It's a joke.
No,
That's
it's
hilarious.
really not.
I'm thinking from, if it's a relationship and if it's a good relationship without any kind of emotional demands or unrealistic demands. Yeah.
So you also have a company called Perfect Fit. It's perfect-fit.ca. Tell us a little bit about it.
So when these two gentlemen came to me and asked me to introduce them to someone, I felt it was the last link to what I was doing. I wasn't planning on being a matchmaker and all this, right? I'm just working with people and helping them understand themselves and why people do certain things that they do, why they treat you the certain way, or why all that stuff comes from. And I was also an owner of a hair salon. I did a lot of hair and makeup freelance. Like I have done it all. So it all transpired into me basically doing makeovers. And of course, you're coaching people along the way, so that they have a different perspective. So you're teaching them how to love themselves more, to understand why they didn't before. And so when I had these people ask me to introduce them, I thought, why not introduce these healthy people that I have now, this network, together? Because that's creating great relationships right there. When you have the knowledge, when you have the experience, and when you've grown as an individual, you can bring a lot more to the table. That's how that goes.
Now, how do you set them up?
Okay, so firstly, I have to make sure that it's someone that I want to work with. So there's actually a lot of coaching that's done on the back end of that, right? So initially, I would have a conversation. And there's endless conversations. You can't get to know a person in one day. They share their life experiences and the things that have happened to them. I try to evaluate everything the best way I can. If I think they need some coaching before, I will not introduce them. They will have to, sign up for a coaching package and work with me for a while so they have better tools to have a good relationship. I don't just take them on a snap. Money doesn't mean anything to me.
Do you tell the men, point in fact, this is not a sex day?
I've never had, thank God, I've never had anybody refer to this as that at all. My company's never given anyone any reason to even question that.
So because of who you there, they know it's a serious thing. And not.
Yeah, because a lot of girls go on these websites and the guys are using it as an excuse. I'm lonely. I'm looking for a pretty girl. I want to get married. And then the girls meet him and all the guy wanted was one night. Men use that as a ploy to get women. So you have to be very careful. But your thing sounds very like you're very strict about that.
I am. So in my business, my fees are very high, first of all. So unless you're prepared to really be efficient in your love life, okay, I would not work with you. You have to be serious about knowing what you want. And the process begins. We figure out what your deal breakers are. What is it that you're looking for? A lot of the time along the way in that process, I'm coaching my clients because I don't want them to come into this with unrealistic expectations, which I would probably say, 75% of people have, right? Men more so than women. Right? I want a tall blonde with great calves, 5'10", Jewish and speaks Japanese. Say what?
Holy wow. Yeah, I'd be like, holy moly.
Tell them to keep dreaming.
That's not what I do, okay? You cannot have that. Now, if somebody comes to me and says, I want somebody kind, I do want to be attracted to her. I'm more attracted to brunettes or blondes than I am, what have you. I would prefer a little bit taller because I'm 6'5", or, for her, I'm 5'7". I would prefer somebody taller. It's not a deal breaker for me, but, if you, find somebody like that, I would love that. He has to be kind. He has to be adventurous. I want somebody to be able to travel with me, so I don't want him to be a 9 to 5, whatever it is. there's 3 things that I match people on. It's your experiences and your character, how you were raised, where you come from, culture, like all these things are components. Personality, for example, I would never put an extrovert with an introvert together unless there's a little bit of a combination of both. Otherwise, somebody's going to be really bored really fast.
Yep.
Right? And of course, lifestyle.
I love it.
How about income? How about income?
I get both. I have men, for example, that definitely want to date a woman who has something of her own. Okay, maybe they've had some experiences of being married and they didn't, they had a rough time of it. Somebody took advantage of them, which I think is totally uncool. Okay?
Absolutely.
I actually feel bad for men because some women, and ladies, please don't be upset with me. I'm not saying everybody, but some women feel entitled when it comes to their short relationships.
Mm-hmm.
They were spoiled a little bit, so they feel entitled, but who's to say that you have the right to have half of what somebody has after somebody took a lifetime to build it. And
no, I agree.
3 years. That is wrong, right?
Yeah, it's wrong. I agree.
Well, that's California law in divorce.
7 years, though. You got to be together 7, not 3.
No, California, 50-50. Doesn't matter how long you're together.
Anyway, hold on. We got to stop because we're out of time. Hang on.
Listen, we want you to come back again. You're very sweet, interesting, and terrific.
Everybody in the chat room loves us. So let's tell everybody, first of all, you guys, you can follow Aviva on Twitter. It's at Aviva Reimer. It's AVIVA REIMER. Her website is avivareimer.com, AVIVAREIMER.com. Where do we get the book? On your website and
on my website and also on Amazon. The hard copy is available now. We're just getting ready to do a bestseller campaign, and so the digital copy will be released on August 15th, I believe. But the hard copy is on Amazon, Kindle, all those great places now. And this will save your life. If you're willing to do the work, this will get you on the path to becoming the total package, 100%.
And the name of the book is Becoming the Total Package, everybody. Again, it's by Aviva Reimer. We want to thank you for coming on the show, and we will talk soon.
And my advice...
And everybody loved you.
And my advice to you is get married. I believe in marriage.
I believe in marriage, too, but I think, it really depends on what makes everybody happy.
There you go.
I just like that little piece of paper. That little piece of paper.
There you go, but we have to go anyway. So anyway, Aviva, everybody, please follow Aviva. Get her book. It's a fabulous book, and we'll have you back. And everybody, have a great day. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Hope you enjoyed the boat show.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.